Well, pretty weary, I think, as well. It's amazing how how almost 20 years have gone by. This all started off when I was on Daily Express as head of sport, and I was offered the job of launching a newspaper called Sport First, which was the first all-British sports paper in this country. And we did that. We launched it, and I was then contacted by a man called Tony Williams. Now, Tony Williams ran a magazine called Team Talk, which was all about non-league football. It was the only one in the country. And he impressed upon me that we should be carrying non-league football in Sport First. And we did that, and the response was fantastic. And after about a year of Sport First, we were selling up to 100,000 copies. The millionaire who owned it, who was fairly mercurial, decided he didn't want anything in the paper like basketball, baseball, boxing, everything we had. He wanted purely Premiership football. And so I didn't want to do that anymore, so I left. And as I was leaving, it struck me that the majority of those, well, a large proportion of those 100,000 readers were non-league fans, because they used to write to me very gratefully and say, thank you so much for covering non-league football. So I decided to launch a non-league paper. And it took me a year to get the team together and the finance to do it. And we launched in March 2000. And the first week we sold 32,000 papers, so it was a going concern from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I started working for the non-league paper as editor in August 2016, so I've done 3 seasons now. But I actually started freelancing for the non-league paper back in 2002 when I was a young lad working in kind of regional papers. So my kind of local patch was Aldershot and Farnborough, so they were 2 clubs that were thriving in what was the old conference back then. And then I moved away and did other things, and career path went in a different direction. But I came back and began working for the company about 4 years ago, and took over as a non-league paper in August 2016. So it's been a full-on few years.
Yeah, what we find is there's quite a bit of opposition out there now in terms of rivals, shall I say, in terms of websites, because there weren't many to start with. So we had to feel to ourselves, and we were selling 40,000 some weeks. It was huge. There's much more competition there now, which is fine. It's good for everybody. The actual non-league has become much more professional, I think. I think we've helped that. I think we've brought a new level to people. And clearly the competition has got stronger. You've got so many powerful teams down there now. It's gone full-time. The National Leagues, they now call it. It was the Vauxhall Conference when we started, and they had various variations. But now you've got all these full-time teams, and they're all battling, and it's a very, very powerful league. And of course, the pyramid goes down. In our time, we've seen the Isthmian League and the other leagues being evolved into Conference North and South to make the pyramid more streamlined, and that's helped. So yes, it's been an interesting ride.
Well, it has changed it. I won't lie that the print industry is tough, and it's got tougher in the last 5 to 8 years, and it will get tougher. We're not just dealing with Twitter. We're dealing with video bloggers, club bloggers, ground hoppers who've become bloggers. Club websites have become stronger, and the leagues themselves. You look at the National League, the video footage that they do. We're not competing with them; we're working with them. But it's a challenge to keep up with modern media and to fend it all off. But I always believe that traditional non-league paper buyers and people who've bought the paper for a long time, they are going down to the shop on a Sunday morning and spending £1.50 on the paper to read about their match report, to read about their club, and they don't really get that from elsewhere. Twitter feeds kind of keep the younger generation involved, but even our readership is quite young as well. We've had real success this season with Leyton Orient, the sales we've had off the back of their success. A lot of young readership, a good strong young readership among that club. So it is a challenge. I do spend far too much time on Twitter on a Sunday, trying to appease people and sometimes falling out with people who are being a bit critical of the paper or the way we've done things, but that's just my nature. I'm kind of fighting the paper's corner in that respect. But I think by and large, people still like to buy newspapers on a Sunday morning, and they like to buy the non-league paper because they know that everything is in there. The National League is pretty well catered for, but once you get down to steps 3 and 4, it's a little bit different. So regional papers, unfortunately, that industry itself is struggling. a lot of regional papers are closing. So we've kind of moved into that market a little bit. We've kind of cashed in, unfortunately, on their downfall, because they don't really report on those teams anymore. For example, Aldershot and Farnborough, the papers around that area where I started working kind of 18 years ago, they are no more. So you've got big clubs there that don't have regional and local coverage. So it's always a challenge. Twitter and social media world will throw up more challenges than not, but by and large, I think it's something where we're punching away quite well.
Well, I think we had a great time, actually. It's gone full circle now with Yeovil Town, because they had a fantastic amateur career as great cup fighters. Of course, when they were in our non-league radius, we were selling 1,000 papers a week down in little Yeovil. So when we lost them, when they went up 16 years ago, which seems amazing now, it seems like only yesterday, that was a big loss to us. And of course they're going back down again now from League Two, so we're going to welcome Yeovil back down along with Notts County, which is an amazing return for them. So Yeovil and Notts County are our newcomers, and we're looking forward to welcoming them.
Well, I mean, it's the weeks come and go so quick. Saturday nights, they are just a blur of absolute carnage. You think about what we're dealing with. We're dealing with 14 divisions and over 150 games with reports. So, you kind of relax week to week and then just live for Saturdays. But yeah, we've been ticking off the editions all year. Buildings, what will be the 1,000th the week after next. So yeah, it's been fantastic. Everybody's really excited about it. There aren't many publications that have such a long shelf life. And I think there's a lot to be proud of with the non-league paper in terms of what it's achieved and what it represents. It's not just out there to break stories on a Sunday morning. It does play and has played a really big part in growing the game at a grassroots level and all the way up to the National League. So everybody here works very hard on it, and everybody's very proud of it. And long may it continue, and we'll be carrying the bat a bit further after the 1,000th issue.